Good Saturday morning. All right, it's great to be with you today. I have three more stories that I want to read today, and I think you're going to figure out, I hope, pretty quickly what we're going to be discussing together today, because there is a topic that I think is very important, and these books are all going to cover that one topic. And of course, one of these is going to be a Bible story today. And so I'm so glad that we can spend some time together on this Saturday. Thank you so much for coming and being with us. Now, the first book that I'm going to read is one that you can see Mr. Adam has had for a very long time. As long as I can remember, I've had this book, and it is called The Magic Grinder. And notice who's on the front cover. We know her, don't we? That's Minnie Mouse. And so this book has Minnie Mouse and her two nephews in it, and this is what the story is all about. The Magic Grinder. Once there was a poor maid named Minnie. She worked for the greedy Lord Gur. While he sat in the shade all day, Minnie and her nephews worked in his garden. Minnie picked fruit and vegetables. Morty and Ferdy pulled and cut weeds. At the end of each day, they brought their basket of food to Lord Gur. He put the heavy basket on the scale. "Not bad," he would say. But whenever Minnie asked for her pay, he always shouted, "Come back tomorrow!" So Minnie had no money. Without money, she could not buy food for her nephews. One day she went to the cupboard. It was empty. "I will go and ask Lord Gur for some food," she said. Minnie went straight to Lord Gur's house. He came to the door himself. "What do you want?" he shouted. "I'm a very busy man." Minnie peeked into his dining room. When she saw the delicious food, she was hungrier than ever. "I only want a little food," she said. "My nephews are very hungry." "Food!" cried Lord Gur. "I don't have enough for myself. Go away." Poor Minnie. Away she went without food for her nephews. On her way home, Minnie had to pass a cave. Suddenly she heard a strange moaning and groaning. It was coming from inside. "I wonder what is wrong," she thought. When she stepped into the cave, she was too scared to move, for on the floor, moaning and groaning, was a very gigantic dragon. Part of the cave had fallen on him. "Do not be afraid of me," said the dragon kindly. "I'm stuck under these big rocks. I need your help." Minnie was no longer afraid. "What can I do?" she cried. "These rocks are too heavy for me." The dragon pointed to a shelf in the corner. It was filled with beautiful treasures. "Take down the golden grinder and bring it here to me," he said. Minnie handed the grinder to him. "Watch and listen," said the dragon. He began to turn the handle, and as he turned, he said, "Golden grinder, help me, please. You will know just what I need." As soon as he had said these magic words, a shovel was standing beside him. All by itself it began to dig. It lifted the heavy rocks. Suddenly another shovel appeared. It started digging too. Then came another shovel, and another, and another. And the dragon said, "Golden grinder, stop and stay." The grinder stopped making shovels. At last the dragon was free again. "Because you have helped me," he said, "I'm going to give you this magic grinder. Just say the magic words and it will give you anything you want." "Oh, thank you," cried Minnie. The dragon waved goodbye to Minnie. "Now don't forget the magic words to make the grinder stop," he called. "It will not stop unless you say those very words." "I won't forget them," said Minnie. And away she ran to show her nephews the wonderful magic grinder. When her nephews saw the grinder, they were not very happy. "Where is our food, Aunt Minnie?" they cried. "Oh, we will have food," she said. "Listen." Minnie began to turn the handle. "Golden grinder, help us, please," she said. "You will know just what we need." Suddenly the table was covered with food. There was turkey and ham, mashed potatoes, peas and carrots, fruit and cheese and milk and bread. Then Minnie said, "Golden grinder, stop and stay." The grinder stopped making food. "Oh, Auntie," cried Morty, Let's ask for new clothes. Minnie said the magic words. Presto! They were dressed in fine new clothes. Let's ask for new furniture, cried Ferdy. When Minnie turned the handle and said the magic words, the grinder gave them their new furniture. We're rich, cried Morty and Ferdy. They bounced up and down on their new bed. Just remember, said Minnie, never tell anyone the magic words. The next morning, Minnie and her nephews did not go to work in Lord Gurr's garden. Minnie stayed home to plant some flowers. Morty and Ferdy went fishing at the stream. Lord Gurr soon came to see why Minnie and her nephews had not come to work for him. He was surprised to see their new things. All this cannot be yours, he cried. Where did you get everything? It's a secret, said Minnie. I cannot tell you. If you don't tell me, I'll call the sheriff, shouted Lord Gurr. He'll throw you into jail for stealing. Minnie showed the grinder to him. I did not steal anything, she said. This grinder gives me whatever I want. Lord Gurr snatched it away from her. I'll take care of it for you, he said, and he ran straight home. He could hardly wait to try the grinder. He put it down and turned the handle. I want some ice cream, he said. Nothing happened. I want some ice cream, he shouted. Still nothing happened. I'll find out how to make it obey me, said Lord Gurr, and off he ran to find Minnie's nephews. Lord Gurr found Morty and Ferdy fishing at the stream. My dear fellows, he said, I hear you have a grinder that gives you anything you want. Tell me, how does this magic grinder work? It's easy, said Morty. You just say, Golden Grinder, help me please. You will know just what I need. And out comes whatever you want. Ferdy quickly poked his brother. That's a secret, he whispered. Morty did not say another word. Very interesting, said Lord Gurr, and he ran back to his house. Now he knew how to make the grinder work. He began to turn the handle. In his greediest voice, he said, Golden Grinder, help me please. You will know just what I need. Sure enough, the grinder began to make ice cream. Then it made more ice cream. Stop! Cried Lord Gurr. He did not know the magic words, so the grinder did not stop. It made popsicles, sundaes, and ice cream cones. It made chocolate and strawberry and peppermint. Soon Lord Gurr had no more bowls to hold the ice cream. Ice cream began to spill onto the floor, and still the grinder did not stop. He's got ice cream everywhere, doesn't he? Stop! Screamed Lord Gurr, for he was up to his ears in ice cream. I'm freezing! But the grinder kept making ice cream. Lord Gurr grabbed the grinder and he began to run. He ran all the way to Minnie's house, leaving a trail of ice cream behind him. When he reached her house, Minnie met him at the door. He threw the golden grinder at her. If you will just make it stop, he cried, I'll never bother you again. Oh my, said Minnie with a smile. It is making quite a mess. Golden grinder, stop and stay, she whispered, and the grinder stopped making ice cream. When he got home, Lord Gurr had quite a job cleaning up all that ice cream. It took him a whole week. As for Minnie and her nephews, they never went to work for Lord Gurr again. Minnie sewed in her own shady garden. Morty and Ferdy spent their time fishing, and the magic grinder gave them everything they needed to live happily ever after. And that's the story on the magic grinder. Now today, really what we're talking about is the attitude of Lord Gurr. He was a man who wasn't ever satisfied with what he had, was he? He only wanted more. He wanted the grinder because he wanted more, and he wouldn't share his things because he wasn't interested in the needs of others. He was only wanting to take care of himself. And we need to be careful that that doesn't ever describe who we are. We don't want to ever be described as greedy. We want to be thankful for everything that God gives us in our life. Now, this point will be made again in this second book that I want to read. It won't take long. And this one's called Casey the Greedy Young Cowboy. And it's a lesson on being thankful. And so we want to be thankful and not greedy. We want to be satisfied with what God has given us and not always be wanting more and more stuff. All right, so think about that as we read about Casey, the greedy cowboy. All right. Cowboy Casey had a horse, a purebred pedal horse, of course. He raced it round the kitchen chairs and galloped up the hallway stairs. He trotted to the living room to watch his favorite noon cartoon. His favorite show was Cowboy Days. He watched it while the horsey grazed. And as he watched his cowboy show with bucking broncs and rodeos, Cowboy Casey had a thought. Hey, they've got stuff that I haven't got. All those cowboys on TV have more cowboy stuff than me. So Cowboy Casey wrote a list. He wrote so long he strained his wrist. Stuff I need, he wrote on top, and then he ran to Mom and Pop. Here, said Casey, here's a list. I need this stuff, I must insist. Every cowboy on TV has this stuff, but not poor me. His mom and dad were pretty shocked. A long time passed before they talked. This list is rather long, said Dad. You're sure you need these things real bad? Cowboy Casey nodded yes and said, make sure you get the best. Now, Casey, Mom said with a frown, I think you should look around. We've bought you cowboy hats and boots, silver stars, and 2 6-shoots. But more than that, you shouldn't groan. You have a family, friends, a home. That made Casey very mad at Mom and Dad. He jumped upon his horse's back and stormed outside. The door went smack. He rolled his pedal horse along, humming angry cowboy songs. But as he muttered at the sky, something near him caught his eye. A poster for a rodeo. A rodeo! What do you know? With cowboys, hot dogs, bulls, and clowns, coming soon to Casey's town. Cowboy Casey snatched the sign and pedaled home in little time. Forgetting that he'd been so mad, he showed the sign to Mom and Dad. Sure, they said, we'd love to go. We'll take you to that rodeo. The rodeo was big and loud. What a show! And what a crowd! They rode on bulls and broncos too. It was like a dream come true. And then there came a big surprise, a cowboy who was Casey's size. Casey watched the boy and thought, what a swell life that kid's got. His parents must be really great. I bet that he's not even 8. The boy, whose name was Bronco Bill, had a trailer on a hill. Casey watched Bill go inside, and then he took a little ride. He went and knocked on Bill's front door. No answer, so he knocked once more. He opened it and looked around. Then he heard a sobbing sound. And there in tears was Bronco Bill, leaning on the windowsill. Oh my, said Casey, are you hurt? Did you get shot by Black-Eyed Bert? No, sobbed Bill, I just feel sad. I wish I had a mom and dad. I live here all alone, you see, 'cause I don't have a family. You mean that's all? Said Casey, doubting. That's no reason to be pouting. You've got everything you need. Bulls and guns and broncs with speed. Well, sure, said Bill, but I'm alone. Would you want this for a home? All the others in the show have a home, a place to go. Look around, what do you see? Is this a place you'd want to be? The place was small and dark and sad. No pets, no friends, no mom and dad. How awfully lonely, Casey thought. I'd rather have the life I've got. It all came clear to Casey then, how awfully thankless he had been. Thankless for the things he had, thankless for his mom and dad, All this time he'd whined and moaned while living in a happy home. And as he hung his head in shame, he heard a voice call out his name. "Casey, Casey, where are you? It's time to go. The show is through." Quickly, Casey got a plan. "Come on," he cried, and took Bill's hand. "Hey, Mom! Hey, Dad!" Casey screamed. They turned, and both their faces beamed. "Casey, son, where did you go? You had us worried sick, you know." "Meet my new pal, Bronco Bill. He lives alone up on the hill. He's even in the rodeo. He's the best one in the show. And he's got tons of cowboy stuff, but I found out that's not enough. You see, he has no mom or dad, and that's why Bronco Bill's so sad. He really shouldn't be alone. Don't you think he needs a home? I could sort of be his brother. You could be his dad and mother. 'Cause you're the greatest, Mom and Dad, and having you sure makes me glad." Cowboy Casey's parents smiled and hugged their little cowboy child. They hugged his new friend Billy too. This thankfulness was something new. That's a story all about being thankful and avoiding being greedy. I want you to notice the Bible verse that goes along inside this book. It says, "Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, for his loving kindness is everlasting." Psalm 118 and verse 1. Everything that we enjoy in this life does come from God, and we should be thankful. And we should never be just always wanting to have more stuff. We should never be greedy and always thinking that we're not satisfied and always wanting something else. We need to be very serious and very careful about this. I don't know if this is true of you, but I know sometimes when I was your age, sometimes when I go to the grocery store or Walmart, I see those kids and all they do is ask their parents for more this and more that. Can I have candy? Can I have a new toy? And every time they go to the store, all they do is ask for more stuff. We need to be careful about that. The Bible says that everything that we have comes from God, and we need to be thankful for it and satisfied with what we have. And sometimes we may not think about it or be able to see, but we really are blessed. God has given us everything that we need. Now here's the Bible story that I want us to think about before we're done today. The man who loved money. And let's read this Bible story together, and then I'll let you go about your day, okay? Here's this book, The Man Who Loved Money. Jesus walked along the road, teaching people what to do. A rich young man followed him. He wanted to hear Jesus too. "Good teacher," said the rich young man, "please tell me what is good, so that I can please my God and do the things I should." Jesus turned to look at him. His heart was filled with love. "Keep the commands," he told the man, "that were sent from God above." The young man then asked Jesus which commandments must be done. He wanted to make sure that he did not miss a one. Jesus told the rich young man, "Don't lie or cheat or steal. Honor your father and mother, and never, ever kill." The rich young man was happy. He was filled with lots of joy. He had followed these commands from the time he was a boy. But Jesus wasn't finished. There was one thing more. "You must sell all your goods and give the money to the poor." The rich young man was shocked. He was very, very sad. For you see, he loved his money, and he liked the things he had. He thought for just a moment about what Jesus said. Should he obey Jesus or keep his things instead? He soon made up his mind that he would not obey. He loved his things too much. Sadly, he turned and walked away. Jesus then explained to those who stood nearby, that people who love money won't go to heaven when they die. So when we think of money, we should remember this young man and never let material things keep us from doing God's commands. It is not wrong to have stuff, but it is wrong to always be wanting more, and it is wrong to be thinking that our stuff is more important than anything else. God wants us to remember that everything that we have in this life that we enjoy does come from Him. And He has blessed us with so many wonderful things. I want you to look around today. I want you to think about all the things that you have in your life. I want you to think about your parents, your mom, your dad, your grandparents, people that love you at Westside, people that care about you. I want you to look around your bedrooms, and I want you to look around your house. I want you to go outside and look at all of your toys and everything that God has given you. And I want you to think about being satisfied with what you have. That there are other people who don't have all of those nice things that you do, and we should be thankful to God. But let us never, ever have an attitude that says, I'm going to put these things above doing the will of God. That these are going to be more important to me than anything else. We need to avoid doing that. And so today I hope you'll go about your day. I'm so glad that you spent some time with me. I'm glad that we could read these stories and we could think about God and all the wonderful things that He's given us. And let us always be thankful and never have an attitude of greediness. All right. Thank you for your time. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later, okay? Bye-bye.